Hey folks, it's a man once again. And now we get to WrestleMania 4, and this was sort of an interesting time in WWF where I've talked about these in the past, but since I'm doing this sort of in order, I probably will talk again about between WrestleMania 3 and WrestleMania 4, you had the first Survivor Series, and you had the first Royal Rumble. And again, just to keep in this, again, I'm building these up, I'm saving these up, these videos up, so it'll be sort of a marathon of these reviews. I probably will put Royal Rumble and Survivor Series reviews, newer ones, updated ones, before this. I haven't watched them yet, but I'm just saying, because I'm kind of going through the WrestleManias. But I probably will take a look at Survivor Series 87 and Royal Rumble 88 and have reviews of those before this one. But that's why it was an interesting time. Like between WrestleMania 3 and 4, it's like, oh, here's first Survivor Series, and here's the first Royal Rumble, and now we get back to WrestleMania 4. And then even WrestleMania 4, they did something different. I mean, there was, because it was done in a tournament style. Now, I have reviewed a program that was tournament style, which was called the Wrestling Classic in 1985, which was a 16-man tournament which Junkyard Dog won. So it's not the first time they did a tournament thing. It's just the first and only time they did that for a WrestleMania. And the whole story behind this was that after WrestleMania 3, and throughout the programs, Hogan was still in conflict with Andre, which was in Survivor Series and so forth. Pretty much what happened was Hogan was also fighting the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and was it on Saturday? I think it was Saturday night's main event. Hogan and Andre were fighting, and Andre pins Hogan, and Hogan kicked out. And the referee's right there, but he still counts 1, 2, 3, and Andre wins. And Hogan's like, "What the hell's going on?" And that's the bit where you have the twin referees. One's good and one's bad. And it was the bad referee twin that the $1 Million Man paid someone to change their face to look like that ref so that Hogan would get screwed. And then Andre, who won, gave the belt to the $1 Million Man, so the $1 Million Man was champion. And then quickly after, President Jack Tunney, who wasn't really the president, it was Vince McMahon, but they needed a guy to be the face of the president. President Jack Tunney says, the title is stripped, and it's vacant, and we will have a tournament, a 14-man tournament at WrestleMania 4 to see who is the true champion. So it was interesting to do it that way. To have a tournament style WrestleMania. It was interesting to do it that way. But I think the reason they didn't do that again is a lot of people actually don't like this WrestleMania. Because it's not the most memorable WrestleMania. Because, I mean, I think it's about as long as WrestleMania 3. I want to say it's about 3.5 hours. But there's a lot of matches. I mean, there's what? About 16 matches. There's a lot of matches in this WrestleMania. And I liked it. Again, I keep mentioning this. I like how the nostalgia factor of, I can't admit that in this. I've been admitting it. Of looking back and seeing all these guys who are no longer with us, all these guys who I remember seeing bits of when I was a kid, and this was, Macho Man was in a few matches and he won the tournament. And I like Macho Man, and seeing people like Rick Rude and Jake Roberts and Ultimate Warrior and Hogan and Ted DiBiase. So I can't hate it when And it started with a 20-man battle royal. I like battle royals. I do. I have fun with them. I enjoy them. And like the last three was Junkyard Dog, Bad News Brown, and Bret Hart. And they both double teamed Junkyard Dog, and then Bad News Brown threw Bret Hart. I don't know why they had Bad News Brown win. Bad News Brown didn't amount to anything. But I do like that Bret Hart came in and took the trophy and beat the shit out of it and smashed it. So that was fun. But I like battle royals because each time you watch it, I can watch a different person and see how their whole thing goes. Then okay, let me watch this person and see how their whole thing goes. So it's rewatchability for me, and I just like that battle. It's why I like the Royal Rumble. And I mean, I don't have all the Royal Rumbles. I have the first three volumes. I know there's a fourth one which is in a white cover. I don't have that one. I want to pick that up one day. But yeah, volume 4. But I like the Royal Rumble concept. It's a fun concept. It's a fun event. And Battle Royals is kind of like that as well. Only they're all there at the same time. And that was one of my favorite things of WrestleMania 2. And you know, I liked it. I liked that's the way they started off. I thought that was fun. But I mean, there's so many matches. And again, what I will agree with is a lot of the matches, there's not much memorable about them. Again, I think that's why a lot of people don't like WrestleMania 4, because it's not like Steamboat versus Savage WrestleMania 3 or I mean Hogan, he's only in one match with Andre, and and it's like a 5-minute match that ends in a double disqualification, so they're both out of the tournament. And the ending is hampered with like Macho Man won, but then it's I'll get to that because that is a problem with for me. And to be honest, I don't want to make these reviews too long. I know WrestleMania 1 and 2, those reviews are like 35, 36 minutes. I kind of want to make them shorter. Because honestly, with the WrestleMania stuff, you watch them for yourself and have your own opinion on it. But $1 Million Man versus Jim Duggan. I know Andre the Giant was with $1 Million Man and helped get Jim Duggan defeated. Don Morocco versus Dina Bravo. Don Morocco won via disqualification. Superstar Billy Graham was with Don Morocco. I can't even remember much with that match. Great Valentine defeated Ricky Steamboat. And I can't remember how the hell did Great Valentine beat Ricky Steamboat, because it's just one of those things I look at and go, no, I'm sorry, no. Maybe because I just don't like Great Valentine at all. I really don't. I'm like, really? Really? Great Valentine beats Ricky Steamboat? Really? I mean, by this point, they really fucked over Ricky Steamboat. I'm sorry. They really did. Because, think about it, WrestleMania 3, he wins the Intercontinental Championship against Savage in a great match. And then Ricky Steamboat wants some time off. You know, not 5 years or anything. He wants some time off because his wife is giving birth to their first son, who he carries out with him before the match here. And Vince McMahon is like, you want some time off? Well, okay, fuck him. And they punish him. It's like, well, you don't have to lose the title to the Honky Tonk Man. Which he does. Which I'm like, really? You don't lose, and then to get back down more, you know, you don't be in this tournament, and you don't lose in the first round, the Great Valentine. I think that's what happened. I know even Ricky Steamboat says that they kind of punished him for asking some time off because his son was coming into the world and he wanted to be there for it and spend some time when his son was just born. Fuck you, Vinnie Mac and Cheese. Fuck you. Vince has not just been an asshole in the past 5 years. He's always been an asshole. He's always been a jerk off. He fucked over Booker T. He fucked over, Steen. He fucks over all these people. He definitely fucked over Ricky Steamboat. And I know Steen says it was his decision, but I'm like, I don't buy that 100% bullshit. I know here he fucked over Steamboat, punished him. Punished him. Just think about, you go from the Intercontinental Champion to the next WrestleMania, you're in the first round and you lose. To Grade the Hammer Valentine, who I thought always sucked. There was nothing to Grade Valentine. He had blonde hair. His last name was Valentine. So that pissed me off, and that sucked. Randy Savage defeated Butch Reed. Randy Savage was a good guy by this point. Not much to the match, pretty much. Butch Reed was climbing up. He was distracted by Miss Elizabeth. Randy Savage pushed him off the top rope. Does the flying elbow drop. Pins him. Not much to the match. One Man Gang defeats Bam Bam Bigelow. I don't know why they treat Bam Bam Bigelow like nothing. I mean, I remember, I think it was Survivor Series that he debuted, and he was like the last man, but no, he loses. Here, he loses to the One Man Gang in less than 3 minutes. And Bam Bam Bigelow, like, he was more athletic than One Man Gang. He could do more than One Man Gang. One Man Gang can barely move, but Bam Bam Bigelow can do cartwheels, and he could do... But no, he loses via countout. Bam Bigelow, again, he's one of those guys. I think he won the ECW. They allowed him to do more than that, but man, WWF, Bam Bam Bigelow, they didn't let him do shit. Then you did Rick Rude versus Jason Roberts, which honestly, I thought this was one of the best matchers. One of the best matches on the event. Rick Rude, may he rest in peace. He was a great villain, great heel. All you sweathards, better watch your wives, because they don't be crazy for my body. I forget the actual dialogue, but he was great as that. And good back and forth between him and Jake Roberts, a lot of moves. Good back and forth. It's just, it ended in a time limit draw because the time limit was 15 minutes. But it's like, man, let this match go on more and let there be a winner. And it was a good... I really liked that match, though. I thought that was a good one. Ultimate Warrior defeated Hercules. I liked Ultimate Warrior, but this was a shitty match. I mean, I like Ultimate Warrior. I do. I have both of his DVDs. And there's a lot of matches that he did that I like. I mean, my favorite is him and Macho at WrestleMania 7. But I thought he actually had a lot of decent matches. He had some decent matches with Rick Rude. He had some... I like the match between him and Hogan. So there's a lot of matches I like with the Warrior. But this match, it really showed what Warrior couldn't do. And Hercules wasn't much better. It was slow. It was slotty. It was... Again, this is coming from a guy who really enjoys Ultimate Warrior, but I gotta be honest. Him versus Hercules was a shitty match. And the most memorable thing is that Warrior won and he's throwing the chain like this. Almost like he's almost hitting the damn ref with that damn chain. So it just shows how green Warrior was at this time. Some would say he was always green, but there's a lot of matches I liked with him in it. This one, no. I can't defend it. Hogan versus Andre. It was a decent 5 minutes, but pretty much each of them got the chair and hit each other, thus double DQ. So it was a fun 5 minutes. I liked Hogan, but yeah, in this day, but yeah, it was there. $1 Million Man defeated Don Morocco. I liked the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. He was a good villain. I can't remember much about the match though. I mean, this wasn't a chore to sit through. It was like, oh, okay, cool. There's $1 Million Man. Okay, he does some stuff. Oh, cool. There's Rick Rude. Oh, cool. There's Hogan. Oh, cool. There's Randy Savage. So that's why I could enjoy it. But I can understand people not like it because it's not the most memorable at all. Randy Savage defeated Great Valentine. What was it in? I can't remember the specifics on this. Because it's 16 matches. It's hard. I should have written stuff down, but I'm like, man, this is so many matches. I don't want this to go to an hour long. Brutus Beefcake defeated the Honky Tonk Man. I do remember liking this one. It was for the Intercontinental, and Brutus Beefcake was doing some smart things. Honky Tonk was going to kick him, and Brutus Beefcake moved out of the way. Honky Tonk Man was going to do his move, but then Brutus Beefcake grabs the rope, so Honky Tonk falls on his ass, beats the shit out of Honky Tonk Man. I thought Brutus Beefcake was actually pretty decent as a babyface in this match. And he won from DQ, so he didn't get the championship, but I thought it was a pretty decent match. The Islanders and Bobby Heenan versus the British Bulldogs and Coco Beware. Pretty much, the Islanders, Haku and Tama beat the shit out of Coco Beware, tape Bobby the Brain, have him land on Coco, and pin him 1, 2, 3. It was there. Randy Savage defeats One Man Gang. This was pretty lame. I mean, Randy Savage got his ass kicked, and then for some reason, the manager Slick gives One Man Gang a cane or whatever, and then just starts trying to stab Macho, and then the ref sees it, disqualify, and One Man Gang's okay with it. I'm like, you were winning the match. You were overpowering Randy, and then you're not even mad that you lost the match, even though it's for the championship. It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense at all. You might as well have had Bam Bam Bigelow or someone else and maybe work a better match. You can't do that with two good guys. But then you had Demolition versus Strike Force, which was Rip Martel and Tito Santana. And Demolition won. It was what it was. Again, just not a fan of Tito Santana. And then Randy Savage versus Ted DiBiase, which that's one of my big problems with this pay-per-view is I hate the ending. It's cool Randy Savage won. I like Macho Man. He got to be the champion, but it was less about him winning the champion. It was more about the ongoing between Hogan, Andre, and $1 Million Man. Like, Macho Man was the guy outside of the bubble in this. Because Macho Man was trying to fight $1 Million Man, but then Andre kept tripping him up. He whispers to Miss Elizabeth, who comes up and brings back Hulk Hogan. $1 Million Man is ready to win, and Hogan gets a chair and hits $1 Million Man in the back with a chair. And then Macho Man looks around, does the elbow drop, 1, 2, 3, and Hogan's in there. Yeah, it's like he only won because of Hogan. It's Hogan and Andre and Hogan $1 Million Man, and I want to say this is around the time that he's going to go film that movie No Holds Barred. Actually, I can't remember what year that was. No Holds Barred. I can't remember. I'm sure if I look at, but it's just that Macho Man's win was tainted because he was getting his ass kicked. He didn't put up much of an offense, or I should say offense. Didn't put much of an offense, and it's like you didn't put much of an offense, and you only won because Hulk Hogan cheated and hit the $1 Million Man in the back, and you didn't really earn that win. You didn't earn to be the champion. It's always tainted because maybe that was the point. Maybe by that point they knew what WrestleMania 5 would be. And it would be this ongoing year story of the Mega Powers and then a break. And then I'll tell you one thing, if that was the plan, then man, they really did think ahead back in the day. But again, maybe that was the case. But it just, I look at it and I go, yeah, Hogan took a leave of absence during the late spring and part of the summer to film the movie No Holds Barred. Andre the Giant was in a feud with Jim Duggan. Savage vowed revenge, and when DiBiase and Andre countered by offering to meet him in a tag team match with a partner of his choosing, Savage chose Hogan, the Mega Powers, and they met at the first SummerSlam. Hogan and Savage winning the match. Mega Powers alliance soon broke apart, with Savage turning heel, following a tag team match against, yes, they were called the Twin Towers, a team in the Big Boss Man, on the main event. A feud developed between Jake Roberts and Rick Rude. Rude advancing on a woman who revealed to be Roberts' wife Cheryl, and it fears Jake Roberts attacked. Honky Tonk Man continued his feud with Brutus Beefcake over the Intercontinental Championship, and then at SummerSlam, Ultimate Warrior whipped Honky Tonk's ass, which was a fun moment. I guess Bad News Brown won because he had his first feud with Bret the Hitman Hart. And Hart, despite being a heel, was increasingly popular with the crowd, and according to Vince McMahon, received the most fan mail of any of the wrestlers. Then they turned Hart and Jim Neidhart face and fired Jimmy Hart. And then Bret Hart began a singles feud with Bad News Brown. So, yeah, Macho Man didn't have much of a championship because what feud? I mean, it says that stuff, but he didn't really have a feud. Like when Macho Man was champion, he really wasn't champion because it's like I'm doing a couple things. Oh wait, I'm a tag team partner now with Hulk Hogan, and we're the Mega Powers. I'm like, but you're the champion. Can you get in feuds with Andre, $1 Million Man, beat him 1-on-1? Get some guys to fight Macho Man. Some of the bad guys. But no. I mean, they do that with Hogan, but not Macho Man, because it was never really Macho Man's crown. It was never really his belt. It was, okay, I need someone to hold this for a while, but I'll be back to pick it up next year. And that's what happened at WrestleMania 5. So that's the thing, is that with Macho Man, it was never his championship. It was a tainted win at WrestleMania 4. It only won because Hogan hit $1 Million Man in the back. It was still about Hogan. And the Mega Powers, it was Hogan and Macho Man. Even though Macho Man is the champion. And that's kind of the sucky thing about this. So, I mean, WrestleMania 4, it is what it is. It's a tournament that obviously it didn't work out because that's why they never did a tournament again, unless you count maybe King of the Ring type stuff, but not for WrestleMania. As far as I know, I could be wrong. But yeah, a lot of matches. this couple I like the Rick Rude, Jake Roberts match and such, but again, I wasn't bored watching it. It's definitely a step down for WrestleMania 3, though. I think that's another thing. You look at WrestleMania 3, and you look at Piper versus Adonis, and you look at Savage versus Steamboat, and even Jake the Snake versus... Even Hogan versus Andre, granted, it's not a good match, but it is an iconic match. And then when you go to this, there's really no iconic matches, and there's no great matches. I think that's why WrestleMania 4 kind of belly flopped. I mean, again, I like the idea of a tournament. But yeah, I didn't hate it like other people do, but it's definitely one of the lesser WrestleManias that I've watched. I mean, I definitely put 3 above this. I'd probably put 2 above this, because 2 did have a great ending between Hogan and King Kong Bundy, and I like that Battle Royale with the NFL players more. I like the Battle Royale in this, but I like the one with the NFL guys more. WrestleMania 2. So I'd probably put WrestleMania 2 above this. WrestleMania 1, honestly, I'm kind of even between this and WrestleMania 1. And again, I don't hate any of them so far. But it was there. WrestleMania 4, it was there. Best way I could put it. But I'll end it here because I'll just keep repeating myself. But either way, thanks for watching. Take care. And we will see you later. Bye-bye.